All right, class of 2020. So here's another video. Again, same kind of thing as before. This is meant for you, not public consumption, especially as we talk about this next topic, because this is advice as I see it. You don't have to take it. You don't have to agree with it. Others may not like it. It's just what I think based on the questions that you've asked and the information I have and the life I've lived. So again, it's for you, and it's because of what you asked and what I've experienced. So again, if you don't want the advice, it's okay. Excuse me. So with this is jobs and careers. So again, not necessarily college, because careers and jobs can be different, and you might have many of those. I've had many jobs and careers, so to speak, as we go through, from working in my grandfather's garage when I was really, really little, pumping gas and running his a little convenience store. I've worked on outdoor advertising, billboards, cutting weeds, repairing signs, climbing up to 100 feet in the air to carry materials up, a lot of grunt labor, working on vehicles and fixing them. I've worked in the grocery industry, both small store and large company like Meijer. It was a full-time job for me for a year in my gap year, which came after my undergrad at OU. And that was a 4 a.m. job as a frozen food order writer. I was in charge of the frozen food department at Meijer, which led to relationships, allowing me, that was definitely influential in my pathway of my life to get to where you guys are, to get to the point where I am and being in front of you. That job led directly to a large number of things, because that pathway was a job I took and continued when I came down here to college, and continued in Hilliard, and continuing that job is where I met the girl's mother. So that obviously changed a lot of the course of my life. At OU, I was an RA for a year. I was a security aide and senior security aide for 3 years after that, working with the police department and that kind of stuff at Ohio University. I've coached football, baseball, youth soccer, youth softball, obviously teaching for over 20 years now, and I'm a real estate agent. So, a lot of different jobs, a lot of different variety, a lot of different types of areas. A couple things within all of those, if I could pass on some career and job advice, you have to find the balance between paying the bills and time for you and with family. And that's very difficult and something that I wasn't able to do very well early on in my life. The job, the money, make it, right? Spend forever at the job and not enough time with the family. As I'm here where I am now, I want to spend more time with my family than I do on my job. So you've got to find the balance between being able to pay the bills and being able to enjoy your time with your family, which we'll come back to that in a moment. Sometimes supervisors are just jerks. Sometimes you'll outlast them. So that's kind of one of those things. It's just hard when your supervisor's not a nice person. It's hard to do, and you've got to make some evaluations on that. Not everybody's going to be your friend, and some people in this world are just jerks, and kind of you have to again make that determination. Will they be there longer than you? Is this really worth it? And sometimes you have to make a decision to walk away, and I've done that. I've walked away from a lot because I could see clearly that the stress it was going to cause me to outlast that supervisor wasn't worth what the job was. Wasn't worth my personal mental health and well-being. Start putting money away as soon as you can. One of the things I did in teaching is I started putting money in an extra retirement account as soon as I started teaching, and it's grown moderately over that time frame. It wasn't anything huge. It was $25 a paycheck. It wasn't a huge amount. Was then, because I wasn't making that much money, but it was not a huge amount, and still try to do that to this day. So put stuff towards your retirement, things you can control outside of Social Security or any kind of employee retirement system, so that you've got something independent of all of that. Enjoy the journey. With that, enjoy the journey of a job. Enjoy what you're doing. Learn all that you can. You never really know what skill set might be necessary for later in life. There's things that I've learned and been able to do from some of my other jobs that absolutely positively apply to just being able to know how to do things, knowing how the grocery industry works, behind the scenes kind of things, knowing how advertising billboards work and selling of ads, and those kind of things. And obviously the coaching and teaching and knowing those things have helped me a lot in my connections with people. And that's a lot of it, is making connections with people, so much that coaching allowed me to make a lot of connections with individuals and know how to do that, which helps me in the real estate. So some days your job's going to make you mad and you're going to quit. Sometimes you can quit and others you can't. Maybe the bill situation, your income, you don't have another job. Be honest in evaluating why you're upset. It might be that your boss made you mad, your coworkers made you mad, you're in a bad mood that day. There's a lot of those. I've been there, and you guys have seen enough. And not every day of teaching is happy, and it's hard not to let others influence that sometimes. And never has it been that I don't want to teach. Never has it been that I don't want to be with my students. It's always other things. Not agreeing with decisions that supervisors or administration has made is often that. And I'm not quite a follower. So I don't do well taking orders from others, especially when honestly, when I find those orders to be stupid or something I don't agree with, or not in the best interest of everybody else, or just something that's not very well thought out. I don't like being blindsided by decisions that come out of nowhere that influence my job. Sorry, I'm looking at this. Be kind at work, but be honest. There's no reason to be a jerk at work. If there is, then change the job or find something else, or change yourself. But be honest with people. Don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't get that kind of reputation. Always try to leave a job on the best terms you can. Sometimes you won't be able to. Sometimes it's sometimes ending a job is both middle fingers in the air, you walk out the door, and that's it kind of job. And then there are those places and those times. But try not to continue to make those all the time. I remember coming to London when asked by the principal there about contacting my previous principal. I said, you can, but we don't get along, and he's the reason I'm leaving. And they asked about the reasons why, and I was very forthcoming and honest with them, that I found him to be a conniving, backstabbing jerk, that he had an agenda, and he was out to get me because I disagreed with him because he was lying about student attendance and achievement. And that came out in the papers years later, that that's exactly what he was doing. And because I challenged him and wouldn't go along with what he said, wouldn't sign off on fake documents, he targeted me, and that wasn't necessary. So I was leaving that job, so that it wasn't something that I felt bad about. But keep in mind that new employers often will contact previous employers. So, think about how you walk out the door. Head held high as best you can. Sometimes you can't, and that's okay. Change is scary. Taking a leap requires a lot of courage. I haven't been one to be able to do very much of that. I'm a pretty reserved person when it comes to those kind of things. So stuff that I'm probably telling you to do, I haven't been able to do, and that's probably why I'm able to do it. Where you guys are right now, everything's laid before you. You don't have to be in your career job now, and things change. The path I chose, teaching's a pretty much a set time frame in that 30 years to retirement, that kind of stuff. But you're going to change jobs a lot, and it's okay. Make sure you can support yourself, support your family, take care of your needs. Make sure you take care of your wants if you can, and be happy. Don't the rest of it. It's with this, it's one of those things where this is one of those statements that, like I said, may agree with, may not agree with, but with that, your job doesn't define you. I am a teacher, but by design, when I retire, they're going to replace me. And by the time you cycle through 3 or 4 years, will be completely forgotten in terms of the students and probably a large majority of the staff of the school that I'm at. So, my legacy relies on those of you I've had in the past, and those that are my family and my friends. So in the end, try to find that balance. Try not to chase the dollar if you can. Enjoy your life. Live the life you can, and try not to make your life your job. Do what you can to survive and try and move forward, but enjoy the life beyond your job. Would be probably the best advice I can give on that, and put money away towards that future that you have. You know, one of those lessons learned, you know, in terms of that kind of thing is, you know, I watched my own father work himself for years. He was able to retire early and pretty comfortably for, you know, his standards that he wanted to have. And he had a plan for retirement, and a very good retirement, a retirement he enjoyed. But I don't know how much my dad enjoyed his life. He worked a lot, and he passed away before he could enjoy his retirement fully. He was retired for 11 years because he retired early, but dying at age 66, you know, my father didn't get a chance to live his life. And I'm not going to do that, and it's hard to figure that out at 46. You know, I'm going to try and make sure that my life is about my family, my kids, and they are my legacy, and that's a job that I will have forever. The other jobs are just those. They're just jobs. All right. Hope this helps. Thanks.